In this video, we're going to tell you about the Stone House Restaurant and Country Inn
in Farmington, Pennsylvania.
Well, hello there, parapeeps, and welcome to another episode of Our Haunted Travels. I am your host, Sean Donnelly.
I'm your co-host, Marianne Donnelly.
That's right. We got one more for that area around Fort Necessity. And this is just literally down the street from General Braddock's grave.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very close.
But before we get into that, if you're into the paranormal history and forensic type videos,
don't forget to hit the subscribe button and ding that little bell so you'll hear from us next time we post a new video.
That's right. All right, so the Stone House Restaurant and Country Inn. This is actually, Panic D number 1889, and it is located at 3023 National Pike in Farmington, Pennsylvania. And yes, it is open to the public. Yeah, we got a lot of information about this place because we actually did this location before on the Haunted Spotlight.
We sure did. We stayed there, and then I think it was like the next week we did it for the Haunted Spotlight.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so to find out a little bit more of the history of this location, go ahead and watch this, and we'll be back and tell you some more stuff. And we'll have our little buddy tell you some stuff about that place, too. So watch this. We'll be right back.
The Stone House was originally known as Fayette Springs Hotel and was built as a resort by the Honorable Congressman Andrew Stewart for wagoners and travelers who were traveling along the First National Road seeking renewed health in the waters of the nearby Fayette Springs. The building is a 2.5-story coursed ashlar wall, 5-bay stone building with a Georgian plan with a center hall. But it features federal-style detailing and is thus listed as federal style on official registries. It also features a 2.5-story kitchen L, and in the 20th century, on the west side of the building, a porch was added that runs along the front and west gable end of the building. There's also a 1-story shed roof addition that was added to the east gable end in the 20th century as well. And a banquet hall is now attached to the house. Congressman Andrew Stewart officially opened the Fayette Springs Hotel in 1822. He died in 1872. On December 26th of 1877, Mrs. Elizabeth Stewart sold the hotel to John Messmer, who leased it to Samuel Lewis and later William Snyder. After Messmer's death in 1879, the hotel was conveyed to George and Albert Messmer, John's executors of his estate. But in 1884, his family sold part of his 440 acres to Daniel Gibson. The following year, Gibson sold 340 acres of it to Calvin Dean for $6,000. While Dean owned it in 1892, a gentleman named William Darlington ran the business. After this, several other land and building transfers occurred, including an 1895 William Playford purchase of 98 acres for $2,000 from Thomas McCullough. And on September 23rd of 1899, Sheriff McCormick sold 98 acres and the building to A.D. Ford for $4,700. Then, on August 3rd, 1909, Hotel Baron George Flavius Titlow purchased the Fayette Springs Hotel as a weekend and summer getaway home from the Albert and Annie Boyd, along with 98 acres of land for $12,000. Titlow closed the doors of the Fayette Springs Hotel to the public and began remodeling. Titlow closed the doors of the Fayette Springs Hotel to the public and began remodeling the then nearly century-old house, adding a huge addition and a wraparound stone porch along its front sides. He also added parquet floors and fancy woodwork and fireplaces in every room. The family eventually added an in-ground swimming pool on the west side yard and often held large parties and reunions on the side lawn. He renamed his mansion the Stone House, which it's still called today. Then some strange entries are found in some deed records. Like on February 1st of 1912, deed records show that George Titlow sold the Stone House to his wife Anna for the same $12,000 that he purchased the house for. Why? That's so odd. Well, she owned the place then until her death in 1930, when it's assumed that it was transferred back to him upon her death. George Titlow then died on May 28th of 1940, and the Stone House was then leased out to Jack and Ethel Ray. They lived there, ran it as a restaurant, and took on boarders in the 5 rooms on the 3rd floor, to men who were gas drillers on the Summit Mountain. Titlow's daughter, Margaret Titlow, then sold the building and 37.957 acres of land to Reverend James Fortis for $13,000 on May 4th of 1944. The Rays continued leasing it. June 13th of 1944, the Reverend sold the house for $1 to Stephen Simonis. He leased it out to several individuals over a 19-year period while it was under his control. One of the lessees was Russ Scher, and he changed the name of it and called it the Farmer's Daughter instead of the Stone House. Sometime during his ownership, Simonis sold the parquet floors to the Titlow girls and used the money to enclose the porch and turn it into a tavern. After his death, his sister Goldie Simonis Bowles put the house up for sale in 1963. Fanny Ross was happy to purchase the location and placed a down payment on the same day that President John F. Kennedy was assassinated. She changed the name back to the Stone House again and operated the Stone House as an Italian restaurant for 31 years. In a partnership with Jean Cardine, Fanny's Stone House once again became a restaurant of great renown. It was noted both among tourists and locals for unique sauces, fresh breads, and delightful homemade Roquefort dressing and strawberry shortcake. When Cardine passed away in 1974, Fanny and her son, Carl Ross, continued the restaurant's tradition of quality and consistency. But then in 1995, Fanny had to close the restaurant due to ill health, but continues to be remembered as a true asset in the local community. Also in 1995, it was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Fanny then looked for a buyer who would take care of the Stone House as she and Titlow had done. She didn't just want anyone to take it over, and someone named Frank Ziegler inquired. She liked him. In fact, in 1996, while signing the paperwork for the sale, someone else came in and offered her $25,000 more than Ziegler, but she said no. So August 6th of 1996, local businessman Fred F. Ziegler III purchased the Stone House and 37.957 acres from Fanny for $260,000. He then embarked on a joint venture to restore the Stone House to its original character and appearance, and extensive renovations were conducted. Every opportunity was taken to restore original elements of the building to a modern function while re-establishing the early 1820s style atmosphere. In March of 2012, Chef Critchfield joined Mr. Ziegler as an operating partner and the chef for the Stone House. The current building offers 13 guest rooms, a main dining room, a tavern, a banquet room, as well as an outdoor barbecue tent and a butcher shop right on the property where you can order cut meats that can be shipped pretty much anywhere right to order. And lest I forget, it also has a large porch along the front of the building for sitting and mingling as well.
Quite a history for this place, right on the national.
The very first national road.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, it's
very first national road,
yeah,
National Parkway, whatever.
It's called National Pike or 30, right?
It's Route 30,
But
Washington Way.
technically, it was the very first
Washington Way's the
national
road.
road.
Back
So,
first national road. Yeah, you're right. Okay, so, we got to go over the paranormal stuff. Well, not we.
Boris is going to.
All right, Boris, take it away. There are those who say that the Stonehouse Inn is haunted, while others say it is not. In fact, Fanny herself reported hearing ghosts walking around at night. She yelled at them and told them, "Hey, if you can't get a dust rag and clean while I am sleeping, then get the hell out." And they left. Perhaps that is why some say that there are none there now, though the current staff disagrees. In any case, the spirits reported there have to do with some deaths at the Stonehouse and some who just like it there. But most of these ghosts seem to come from a period of more rowdy days. One of the spirits may have something to do with a person who was shot in one of the upstairs bedrooms. Allegedly, there were still bloodstains under the rug in the big left room. There is also reportedly an angry woman on the 3rd floor who does not like men. And in the Lincoln room, which was the madam's room at one time, flashlight responses have been recorded during ghost hunting sessions. There is also the report of someone who hung himself over the 3rd floor banister, and reports of a ghostly figure being seen there on an occasion. There is also the apparition of a little girl with long blonde hair who has been seen crying on the 2nd floor in the hallway on the couch by the staircase. She's also been seen in the Lincoln bedroom. Also, up on the 3rd floor, people find change where a gentleman used to sit to collect entrance fees into the speakeasy that was once up there at one time. In the attic, it is reported that there is an emancipated slave named Luther, and he likes to hide out in the attic. Ghost hunters have tried to tell him that he was in the free north and no longer needs to hide. Two gentlemen, Mr. Laurie and Mr. Pierre, had a disagreement and shot each other in the common room area of the mezzanine covered porch, 2nd floor. Bloodstains are still visible on the floorboards, and there are reports of them returning to the scene of their deaths. And there is also the dining room. In the dining room, there are several different reports. Several of these reports are of shadow people. Reports of someone in long-sleeved white shirt who appears. Silverware gets moved. Apparitions of a young boy in period clothing is also seen. And the apparition of an early owner, Mr. Titlow, is seen in the dining room sitting in the chair by the door. Yeah, so you could see why we were drawn to say, yeah, we want to stay here.
Yeah. Now, we didn't get to stay there this year.
No.
They were kind of booked. They were booked for one of the nights that we would have stayed in the block, so we just got a different location. Yeah. So we don't have to move in the middle.
But we did go down and have lunch there, the barbecue lunch outside, which was very good. Then before we left, we went back and got some more DJI footage.
Yeah, I got it all over. I got it all over my my shirt, our haunted travel shirts. I need a new one now. I got barbecue stains on it.
Yeah, she got barbecue stains on our haunted travels.
My special one, my bright blue one too.
I know.
It's sad.
Special edition.
Yeah. Oops.
So okay. So our personal experiences. We stayed there in 2017. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it was
for my birthday.
That's right. It was a monsoon.
Yes, it was.
Going The first night we were there, we heard something in the bathroom. Sounded like a little girl or something in the bathroom. And we just kind of like, whatever, because there was other people staying there.
And it's an old building, and so of course sound's probably going to travel a little bit easier through some of their old walls and things.
Right. But the second night we stayed, whole new group of people in there because that was the Saturday night, and they had a wedding that was.
They had a wedding, yeah.
Whole new group of people. We heard the same little girl, and I went, "Huh, that's kind of interesting." So we heard it. We didn't have a recording of it, but yeah, quite an interesting place.
Mm-hmm. I was drawn to that common area where supposedly the person got killed and bled on the floor.
Yeah,
I kept going over there, taking pictures of the blood spots on the floor.
Right. So why do you believe that this place could be haunted?
Well, some of the individuals who lived there and ran the building throughout time have really liked the building. Lots of passers-by, of course it was at different points, restaurants, hotels, things like that. So lots of individuals bringing a lot of energy to the building. No major waterway, so that's interesting. But it's also right along that original National Road, Braddock area. So lots of those guys traveling through there.
Plus, there are documented deaths within the building too.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
murders
and suicide.
And suicide. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. Okay. Well, hey, do you have anything else you'd like to add to this video?
I just like that. The one owner, she's like, you know what? Forget it.
Oh,
just
Fanny.
Yeah, she's hilarious. She was yelling at him, like, "Hey, you better start earning your keep around here. Start cleaning up at night, or else get out."
Quite a character.
Yeah, so I think she's hilarious.
We do have a book for this location, so some of the pictures and our research came from the book. Highly recommend it. The food barbecue's awesome, and we did eat in the restaurant.
We ate in the restaurant in
2017.
2017.
Food was great.
Yeah.
It was great.
It really was.
So, highly recommend it. All right. Hey, folks. Until next time.
Thanks for watching.
And happy hunting. Let us know if you like this video by hitting that thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to see more videos from us in the future, support our channel by hitting that subscribe button and dinging that bell so you get notified the next time there's a video from Panic D Videos.
Thanks for watching.
Happy hunting.